Hi, everyone. You're listening to episode 50 of the Fifth Meeple Board Game Podcast. Thanks so much for inviting us to your table. Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Fifth Meeple Board Game Podcast. We're a group of diverse friends who offer our takes on the latest and greatest board games to hit our table. I'm your host, Daniela, the goofy noob, and I'm joined today by the collector.
Hey, this is David.
And the intellectual introvert.
Hi, everyone. This is Chris.
And the deluxeifier.
Hello, it's Pete.
All right, in today's mini Meeple episode, we're seeing triple, or at least we're hoping to, as we explore the highs and lows of the card game Trio. They say three's a crowd, but today it's the goal. Let's get to it.
Trio is a 3 to 6 player memory and set collection game that uses a deck of 36 cards, 3 of each numbered 1 through 12. After dealing 5 to 9 cards to each player depending on player count, the remaining 6 to 9 cards are placed face down in the center of the table. Players then arrange the cards in their hand from lowest to highest. On your turn, your goal is to reveal all 3 cards of the same number. To reveal a card, you may ask any opponent to reveal either the lowest or highest card in their hand, turn over one of the cards in the middle of the table, or reveal the lowest or highest card from your own hand. When you reveal a card, if its number is different than the previously revealed card, your turn ends and all revealed cards are returned back to their original positions. Otherwise, you may continue revealing cards. If you reveal 3 cards of the same number, you have formed a trio and you place the cards in front of you in a stack. In the simple game, you win if you collect 3 trios or if you make a trio with the number 7 cards. In the spicy version, rather than 3 trios to win, you must collect 2 trios that are linked as indicated at the bottom of each of the cards. There's also a team version where 4 or 6 players can join forces with a partner to win as easy as 1, 2, 3. Trio was designed by Kaya Miyano and was first published in 2021 by Cocktail Games.
All right, guys, what is it about Trio that makes you feel like you just hit a triple?
I'll go first. I got Trio. It came in a trade, and I think the guy just threw it in there because he missed the shipping date or something. So it's not a game that I actually looked for. I'd heard earlier it was called Nana. It came from Japan, which Nana means 7 for trivia. But, when I got this game and the amount I've played it, I think I've played this game almost 30 times now. And the amount that it hits the table, I actually enjoy this game. I know it's really simple in the mechanics of, I'm either asking somebody what's your lowest or highest card, and I'm going to the middle of the table. But for whatever reason, I really enjoy this game. I'm surprised that I like it so much as I do. To me, I think it has a chance to become a classic, kind of like Uno. I really do think that, it can get to the table a lot. And I do think that the more you start seeing this, I think you're seeing it come in distribution streams that, you'll see this at Walmart, you'll see this in that mainstream, just because it's so easy to grasp and you can just kind of go anywhere and play it. And yet you can always have a chance to win, which is what I like, because even if somebody has 2 sets, you get the lucky 7s. You're still always in this game. No matter how many sets people have at this table, you always have a shot to win. And I like that aspect of this game.
Yeah, barring your brain works to play this game. I like this game a lot, David. I think that I have this in my collection, actually, and I'm looking forward to taking this on vacation with my family and also my sister-in-law's family as well. I think it's going to be a good teach. A lot of us are the same age there, and it's just, to me, it's like a great take on a memory game. That's fun. It's fast. I think you got to play it when your brain is working a little bit, like after, at the beginning of a game night or something like that. There was a couple times as we were going around, there were times like, I know I looked at the 6 or something, but I cannot remember who it was. And, continually asking people, hey, what's your lowest or what's your highest? Super interesting. Like how this game plays out, like that mechanism is really cool, I think. And it's funny, like when you're playing and like the same person after you asks the same question that you just asked. I mean, there's some funny interactions in this too that I think makes this game just all around enjoyable, a good time, laughable, and it's a short, quick game.
Full disclosure, I do not like memory games.
Yeah.
I've said this before. This one, though, is okay. And I think what I like about it is as you're asking these questions, you're looking for numbers on either the highest and lowest. There's also that middle part where you're drawing cards and you're trying to remember those and trying to remember what everybody has. The really interesting part on this is when you get 2 of the same cards, which I think is really a tricky part of this game, because you might show your lowest and it's a 7, and maybe Chris has the other 7, and then, you know, it may go all the way around and I might not get a chance to do it yet or ask again. And somebody else, you know, keeps asking, they know I got a 7, they got, you know, and they start fishing for who's that other one. So I think that's really cool. You feel good when that happens, and you can play it and you're like, oh yeah, I had the extra one. Yeah. But then also on the same side is when somebody else goes, what's your next highest?
Yeah.
You know, so you can get got a little bit there too.
And you just said something that made me, I actually wrote down a variant that maybe I would want to try here if we did it. Because I agree, when you have certain things in your hand, it is kind of neat. And I think it's neat when, hey, someone maybe has a 12, but then the next highest in their hand is that 7 or an 8. And so it's not what you might expect. And then you could do some interesting things, but you could also be a host because you know you're not going to have the high one. But I think maybe a variant that I might like to try is, rather than you have some control over what's in your hand, rather than dealing me a certain number and then the rest go in the middle, deal them all out, or deal me a 1 extra card or something like that, and let me choose which of my cards I put in the middle in a spot. I know a little bit something about the inside, but I can also maybe set up my hand a little better to do more than just, you know, these 2 cards are on the end, so that's what I'm stuck with.
I like it.
Let's play.
All right, so what are some things about Trio that maybe makes you feel like one of the 3 Stooges when you play? I'm just going to go right to Pete.
Yeah, again, memory games I'm horrible at. You can tell me, you know, this that number was a 9, and I close my eyes and look over at Chris, and it's a number 7 now, that in my mind. And this is another one of those games where it comes around to you and everybody knows because they were just watching, and then they're like, okay, they know which one it is and you don't. And I hate that feeling.
I agree.
Especially
totally
for
agree.
me.
Yeah.
And I know I said this in other games where that happens. What was the other one with the bombs and
Bomb busters.
Bomb busters.
Yeah. Or you feel like you did the wrong thing. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Or the game that we were playing when we were doing it as a team, I messed up because I thought that you didn't have the card and everybody else knew except for me. Surprise, you know. So
yeah, if you say something like, Daniela, what's your lowest card, and everybody else at the table goes it's a 3.
Yeah. No, I agree. We played this late, I think a week or 2 ago, after a couple of like heavier games, and my brain too, Pete, was not like all there, and I was like, there was one thing I was waiting for to at least get one set. It went to Dave, it went to Pete, and then David finally understood the cards that I had and what was there, and he sussed it out for me, and he took the cards that I was going to play. But it was kind of like, oh, all right. It was just funny to see it pass around when your brain's not all working. So
right.
that's kind of the little bit of a challenge. I say you just got to have a fresh mind to play this.
Yeah, and to me, I think the biggest challenge teaching this game so many times, especially to people who don't play a lot of games, maybe they only play Uno, is getting them to realize that the only 2 cards that are valid in their hand are the end cards. Because a lot of times they'll think, oh, I see a 6, and then that person has a 6. I'll just take my 6 out of the middle, even though they might have it locked out. So I think that's the trickiest part of this game. It's not very tricky, but for somebody who doesn't play a lot of games, knowing that the only cards that are valid are the end cards. Because I played this one time, and then somebody won. I was like, how could you have won? You had the 1 in your hand the whole time. And they couldn't access the other ones. But I think that's the tricky part of this game, if there is a tricky part to this game, of teaching somebody that mechanism.
I'm pretty sure I did that too. I had this like 2 7s, and I knew there was a 7 on the table like a couple games ago that we played. I was like, oh, I got the 7s. I win. And like, no, it's exactly to your point, David. You had like a 2 or something, and you just, no, that wasn't how you play.
I will say I did like the spicy version better than the base game, just because it's not just grabbing the first 3 cards or, you know, those first sets, where you actually had to kind of go after the different combos in order to win the game.
Yeah, we played it, and I felt that I like the idea of it, but then do you really have control over? And David, you got 4 or 5 trios that game. We played the last time we played it spicy. I don't know if you felt like, okay, I'm going to go for a 2 now, or I'm going to go for a 5. You kind of got to go for what's in your hand.
Yeah, and I think that it originates from the original Japanese version, because I think in the original Japanese version, I could be wrong, so if I'm wrong, I'm sure we'll get some emails, but I think that how you played in the original version is you can win if you have all, like, you collect 3 sets like normal, but if you add up to 7, like a 2 and a 5, then you could also win just with 2 sets. And then there's also the golden 7s that you could always just win with 1 set. So I think that's just like in that normal version of gameplay is that all 3 options are always valid to win. And they kind of mix it up a little bit with the spicy version here. I don't think they have the exact rules translated over from the Japanese version the same way.
Yeah, definitely. Not every card I think is matched with either 1 or 2 other, probably based on how easy is it going to be, how close to the middle is it going to be. I've been kind of quiet over here. This is not my kind of game. I'm not big on memory games, not because my memory is just fine. I just don't find it fun, and I don't know. I'd rather use my memory to remember what I'm trying to do in a game than has David still have that 3 or was it Dave that had the 3 and that's just not fun to me. It's light, so maybe it's an opener. I think that's where it fits. It's got to be at the beginning of that's the other thing. I don't want to play a game that's super light that relies on memory when my brain is shot. Then it's not fun for me either. And so if my brain is shot, I'm saying let's play something light. It's not this one. And so I wanted to like this one. I was the one that said, hey, let's try the spicy version. There's a team version. Let's try that. That didn't work out either. For some reason, it was just really easy to get stuff. It was odd to me how that worked out. But hey, spoiler alert, this one did not click for me.
Before we kick it into third gear and head on out, let's each give our final ratings on Trio. On a scale of 1 to 5, with 5 being a fifth meeple recommendation to buy and a 1 being a recommendation to burn, where does Trio sit for you? David, we'll start with you.
Yeah, I can't believe I'm going to say this. I've been debating all night, but to me, it's a 5. I think you should go out and buy this game. I think it's the next Uno. It's $14.99 on Amazon. It could be a little bit high. Get it in a deal online. You can buy it used $5 to $12. But even on BGG, there's only like 1 copy right now available. That kind of just shows you that many people aren't selling it. And the reason why it's a 5 for me is because my wife will play this game. And so to me, any game that she'll play with me bumps it from a 4 to a 5. And so that's going to get my recommendation. So if you're out there looking for a game, maybe you can play with your wife and her friends, this is probably that game.
All right.
Over to Pete.
Yeah, I'm going to go to, and this is my rating. So again, take it for what it's worth, but I'm going to come in at a 2 on this. It's just not my kind of game. I would rather, I mentioned it before, memory games are not my strong suit. I don't have much fun with it. Other people might like it. If you do like it, it's definitely middle of the road. I would try it, but for me, it's going to be a 2. I'm going to go over to Daniela.
All right. For this game, I'm actually going to give it a 5 on the recommendation. I would assume that people should have this in their stock to play with people who know memory. Memory is a game that we've all played growing up, and this is a great intro to get people around a table to play, whether it's New Year's, whether you're on vacation, whether you're just trying to get people interested and you want to play a game for the evening. I think it's a good game. It's not it's not too hard. It's not hard. It's not thinky. It's not anything like that. It's other than just like good kind of fun. I really enjoyed all of our player actions as we played together with this. And so for me, I'm going to go high on this one. Chris.
Yeah, I mentioned earlier this is not the game for me. David and Danielle, you both gave it a 5. You said you're going to buy it. If I asked to borrow it, do not give it to me because I'm probably just looking for kindling. This just isn't my game. It's a 1 for me. I don't want to play it. I don't think I'll ever play it again. And this might be one where I just say I'll sit out and I'll check my email while you guys play.
Chris thinks ketchup is spicy.
Sometimes it is.
All right. Well, that brings us to the end of this mini episode of the Fifth Meeple Board Game Podcast. We hope you enjoyed our discussion on Trio. And if you'd like to get in touch, just email us at thefifthmeeple@gmail.com or reach out to us on social media. Of course, we'd love it if you'd give us 3 cheers and a 5-star rating, or if you'd hit that subscribe button too. Thanks again for listening. And until next time, remember, if 2 wrongs don't make a right, try 3. Goodbye, everyone.
Bye-bye.
Good night.
Sayonara.
I thought you were going to the
I didn't even read the bottom of this one, though. Hi, everyone. You're listening to episode 50 of the...